There's a moment when you're sitting in silence, and the silence starts screaming back. It tells you you're behind. It tells you you missed your chance. It tells you you'll never catch up. That voice isn't truth. That's the default identity trying to survive. You weren't born to stay broke, angry, or exhausted, but the system is designed to keep you exactly there. It gives you just enough to stop asking for more. It feeds you just enough comfort to kill your hunger. And when you want out, it tells you, be realistic. But hear this, realistic is the language of the average, and average is a lie, sold by the fearful to the powerful. If you feel broke, it's not your wallet, it's your belief system. If you feel angry, it's not the world, it's your trapped potential boiling over. If you feel tired, it's not your body, it's the weight of living as someone you were never meant to be. This is the inner war, you versus the identity you inherited. You were not designed to survive, you were designed to decide. Right now, the world is trying to hypnotize you into doubt. It shows you a mirror made of your past and says, this is who you are. But that mirror is a lie, because your reflection is not your identity, and your past is not your prophecy. The truth, you are a weapon forged in fire. But they never told you that. They told you to sit still, be polite, be humble, be grateful. No, gratitude is not silence. Gratitude is transformation. You're not stuck, you're paused, and this is the reset. It starts with one violent interruption to your current identity. You don't need more information. You need a new interpretation. You see failure as final, change the lens. Failure isn't defeat, it's data. You see struggle as suffering, change the lens. Struggle is strength rehearsal. Every time life hit you, it was asking, will you install the upgrade or defend the version that's dying? Let that sink in. Because until now, you've been defending the version that's dying. But now we upgrade the operating system. New standard, high-income thinking, identity-driven living. Start here. I no longer negotiate with limitation. I am not available for small. I am not compatible with lack. I am allergic to average. Say it again. Say it until your nervous system gets uncomfortable. That's the first sign of a breakthrough. Discomfort. Because transformation doesn't ask for permission. It demands full identity surrender. Here's the truth most won't tell you. If your life feels too heavy to carry, it's because you're carrying it with a weak framework, a broken mindset, a survival script written by someone who's settled. Let's delete that. Let's rebuild on a different code, one line at a time. My thoughts are instructions. My decisions are declarations. My habits are identity in motion. That's your new code. But let's go deeper. Think of your mind like a battlefield. Every thought is a soldier. Every belief is a command. And if your command system is weak, you will lose to thoughts you never chose. Most people don't think. They react to old mental software looping on autopilot. You've been living on borrowed programming, handed down by parents, teachers, culture, trauma, fear. It was never yours to begin with. So if it was installed, it can be uninstalled. And here's the punchline. If it was built, it can be rebuilt. If it was wired, it can be rewired. If it was chosen, it can be changed. This is the reset. Your identity is not fixed. It's a function. It performs based on inputs, not intentions. So if you want to change the output, you change the input. And input begins with language. Start saying what your future self would say. Start acting like your high-performance identity is watching, because it is. It's waiting for you to catch up, not with the world, but with your true calibration. You are not tired. You are misaligned. You are not lost. You are outdated. And today, right now, this second, you become unavailable for anything less than alignment. You've been under the illusion that pain means stop. But pain is not punishment. Pain is a divine signal screaming, wake up. You're playing too small. The frustration, that's sacred. The tiredness, that's data. The anger, that's power. Misdirected. Direct it now. Burn this in. I am not tired. I am underused. I am not angry. I am underled. I am not broke. I am underdecided. This is the line in the sand. From this moment forward, your life bends to the identity you command. not the circumstances you inherited. You're not just thinking differently, you're becoming a new thinker. That is the breakthrough. That is the real revolution. Because when the mind shifts, the world follows. You want the money, change the identity. You want the energy, change the identity. You want the clarity, change the identity. It all bends to who you believe you are. And belief is not passive, it's practiced. You're not here to chase energy. You're here to embody power. And that starts with this: I don't flinch. I don't fold. I don't fade. I lock in. I level up. I live aligned. No fallback. No confusion. No debate. This is the reset. Say it now. I no longer apologize for being powerful. I was not built for basic. I am the system update. Say it again and move like it's done. Your subconscious mind does not care what's true. It cares what's repeated. Read that again. Let it hit. Because most of your limits aren't real. They're just rehearsed. You've been hypnotized by repetition, taught to doubt by default, programmed to play small. Not because you're weak, but because your inner operating system believes the wrong story. So let's rewire it. Let's walk into the core of the mind. The place where beliefs are born, not in logic, in emotion, in rhythm, in loops. Napoleon Hill didn't write Think and Grow Rich for inspiration. He wrote it as a mental protocol. He studied the ones who bent reality: Ford, Edison, Schwab, and he found the link. They didn't wait for belief. They built it through repetition, through command, through identity installation. Let me break it down. 1. Autosuggestion. The art of talking to your mind. You're already doing it. Every day you speak into yourself. I'm so tired. I can't afford that. Nothing ever works for me. That's autosuggestion. But in reverse, you're building a reality you hate by repeating it like a prayer. But here's the shift. If you can talk yourself into fear, you can talk yourself into power. Ford once said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. That wasn't poetry. That was neurology. He installed the identity before the results. He practiced belief before the evidence. And that's where most people get stuck. They wait for proof to believe. They wait for momentum to begin. They wait for money to feel worthy. But the mind doesn't move from results. It moves from rhythm. It believes what it hears on loop. So you must become your own hypnotist. You must build a personal script so loud, so clear, so rooted in power, that doubt doesn't even get a seat at the table. 2. Mental command. Speak like it's law. You can't mumble your way to transformation. You can't whisper your future and expect thunder to follow. Speak it like it's already law. I am not becoming powerful. I am power in motion. I don't chase energy. I generate it. Money follows me because my mind commands it. That's mental command. And it is not affirmation fluff. It's identity programming. You are taking the raw code of your mind and rewriting it out loud. Why? Because spoken word is the fastest path to belief. Not thinking, not journaling, not hoping. Speaking with rhythm, with certainty, with identity. Every word you speak is a vote for who you're becoming, a vote for what you believe, a vote for what the mind is allowed to build next. Speak weak, and your identity decays. Speak truth, and your reality reconfigures. 3. Repetition equals sign rewiring. Let's drop the myth. You don't need to believe it first. You need to repeat. Napoleon Hill taught this. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. That's how the subconscious is built. Not through genius, through grind, not through miracles, through mantras. He saw Edison repeat failure 10,000 times to invent a light bulb. He saw Carnegie install belief into men who had none. He watched Schwab go from laborer to executive by sheer self-image alone. They weren't lucky. They were consistent. And repetition was their weapon. You can do the same, but not casually. Aggressively, audibly, daily. Create your loop, your declaration, your non-negotiable. Here's a framework. I am the cause. I am the code. I am the command. Say that 100 times a day. No music, no distractions, no excuses. Feel it push against the old self. That resistance, that's your old identity dying. Keep going. Do it until belief cracks through. Do it until doubt sounds foreign. Do it until people look at you and ask what happened to you. And all you can say is I reprogrammed. Because here's the hidden truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe. You attract what you believe you are. So if your life is chaotic, broke, tired, it's not punishment. It's a reflection of your current identity script. But identity is not fixed. It's flexible. And repetition is the sculptor. Every word you speak chisels new neural pathways. Every loop you run shapes a new you. Not overnight, but inevitably. Because the mind cannot reject what it hears on loop. So install this. I no longer identify with my past. I no longer bond with my pain. I no longer serve the self that broke me. Say it loud. Say it daily. 4. Speak your identity. Every morning. Make this a ritual. Wake up, no distractions. And declare your identity like it's war. You're not repeating to feel better. You're repeating to build the internal empire. Here's a morning loop to start with. I decide what's true. I command my energy. I multiply results. I walk like it's done. Again, I decide what's true. I command my energy. I multiply results. I walk like it's done. This is the new operating system. You're not just upgrading belief. You're engineering subconscious obedience. And your subconscious, it doesn't argue. It executes. It doesn't need proof. It needs programming. So become the coder. Become the commander. Become the architect of everything internal. Because once the inside shifts, the outside must follow. This is not motivation. This is mind control. You control the mind, or it controls you. And the mind will believe whoever shows up most often. So make sure it's you. I don't rehearse weakness. I don't repeat fear. I don't recite limitation. I repeat power. I repeat truth. I repeat identity. Say it out loud, every day, until belief obeys. There comes a moment where indecision becomes betrayal, not of others, of yourself. Every time you hesitate, every time you keep one foot in the old life, every time you whisper maybe to your dream, you betray the future that's trying to be born through you. Let this hit. You cannot serve two identities. One must die. That's not poetic. That's strategic. The part of you that hesitates, that justifies average, that overthinks purpose, that negotiates your potential, that part doesn't need advice. It needs a funeral. Because transformation doesn't happen when it's convenient. It happens when there's no way back. Burn the bridge. The reason most people stay stuck is because they leave an escape route, a backup plan, a comfort cushion. And comfort is the enemy of command. Listen close. The greatest decision is not to try. It's to eliminate trying as an option. Edison didn't try to invent the light bulb. He burned the bridge. 10,000 failures weren't failures. They were commitment in motion. Napoleon Hill said it plainly. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Definiteness, not dabbling. You can't dabble your way to domination. So here's the reset. Decide, out loud, with force, with rhythm. I've already decided. I don't try. I install. I don't wish. I command. That's the mindset of every historical giant. When Hernan Cortés landed in the New World, he gave the order, burn the ships. Why? Because retreat is seductive. Because fallback plans whisper weakness. Because total power lives on the island of no return. You say you want it? Good. Then eliminate maybe. Delete later. Kill we'll see. Say this now. I've already decided. I don't leave doors open to who I used to be. Feel that. That's the new chemistry being built. That's the mind locking in on a single outcome. Victory through identity. No split focus. No plan B. No toggling between boldness and fear. Because when your identity is in conflict, your energy is fractured. And fractured energy produces fractured results. That's why your life feels scattered. That's why your results are inconsistent. You're trying to build with one hand while holding on with the other. Let go. Burn the fallback self. This isn't about motivation. This is about non-reversible internal decisions. Say it. I've already decided. And I don't negotiate with the old me, because the old you. That's the one who tolerates mediocrity. That's the one who justifies exhaustion. That's the one who needs external permission to go all in. You're not that anymore. I go all in by default. I don't check the weather. I move the storm. Let's go deeper. The subconscious mind doesn't respond to hope. It responds to evidence. And evidence is built through consistent decision loops. Every time you decide and act, you prove your identity is real. Every time you delay, you prove you don't trust yourself. This is war. And war demands full allegiance. You want to dominate your life. Start here. I no longer revisit old decisions. I no longer reopen dead doors. I no longer pause for permission. This is burn the bridge thinking. This is what Carnegie did when he wrote his first life plan. On paper, in ink, and with unshakable intent. This is what Ford did when they told him the V8 engine was impossible. He didn't compromise. He didn't accept alternatives. He said, build it anyway. And his engineers did, because belief leads and reality follows. But here's the trap most fall into. They make bold decisions in private, then water them down in public. That's identity confusion. That's split allegiance. And it kills momentum. So make this law. If I say it in secret, I prove it in action. I don't perform power. I walk in it. There's no halfway into this. You're either building your future or you're negotiating with your past. You're either moving like it's done, or you're rehearsing failure on loop. There is no neutral. There is no middle ground. There is only decision or delay. And decision is the birth of momentum. Want to feel alive again? Want to kill the fatigue, the anger, the broke energy. Then eliminate the identity that tolerates negotiation. Speak this with force. I've already decided. I don't revisit weakness. I don't pet excuses. I don't dance with doubt. You're either on fire, or you're playing with sparks. One burns, one flickers. Choose. You want your life to snap forward. Then do what the greats did. Burn the fallback plan. Burn the second identity. Burn the language of later. Because commitment isn't saying yes. It's saying never again to the version of you that would even consider quitting. That's how legends move. That's how empires rise. Not with more information, but with irreversible identity alignment. Your brain is listening, right now, waiting for the command that leaves no room for exit. So say it like it's war. I've already decided. I walk like it's mine. I live like it's done. I execute like there is no other option. Say it again. Let the old identity panic. Let the old excuses scream, and let them die in silence. Say it loud. I've already decided. Say it louder. I've already decided. Say it until your cells believe it. I've already decided. Now act like the bridge is gone. Because it is. You can have the right mindset. You can speak the right words. You can rehearse belief until your lungs collapse. But if your environment is infected, you will rot from the inside out. Because no identity upgrade survives in toxic soil. You're not just building habits. You're absorbing frequencies. You're becoming what surrounds you. You become like the minds you align with. You inherit the standards of your circle. You mirror the energy of your atmosphere. This is law. You can't speak like a king and sit among peasants of thought. You can't build a millionaire rhythm in a poverty conversation loop. You can't declare power and keep dragging your soul through low energy rooms. That's not loyalty. That's self-abandonment. Listen close. You were not designed to carry everyone. You were designed to connect to power. Napoleon Hill didn't just preach mindset. He preached mastermind. A deliberate strategic alignment of minds moving in one direction. He saw it over and over. Ford surrounded himself with Edison. Edison collaborated with Luther Burbank, Firestone, and Bell. These weren't chance friendships. They were chosen environments, not based on comfort, based on frequency. You must do the same. Build your mastermind circle, or get destroyed by default proximity. If the people around you speak more fear than vision, justify more than they build, laugh at growth instead of multiplying it, then you are inhaling identity poison, and no affirmation will save you in a contaminated atmosphere. Let this drop. Your environment is either your strategy or your sabotage, and you are always being influenced, even in silence. Your subconscious picks up tone. Your nervous system scans for approval, and your energy field recalibrates to match the dominant signal. You don't feel tired because of the grind. You feel tired because of emotional static. You feel drained because you're around people who don't believe like you do. You're not broken. You're misaligned. The solution isn't another self-help book. The solution is a surgical audit of your atmosphere. Ask yourself now, Who around me challenges my expansion? Who questions my hunger? Who waters my doubt more than my vision? And now flip it. Who breathes life into my identity upgrade? Who speaks like it's already done? Who would challenge me to rise even when I'm tired? That's your circle. That's your fire. That's your future. Build it even if it means starting with just one other mind, one soul that sees it like you do, that speaks in bold, that doesn't flinch around pressure, that doesn't mock success, because greatness is contagious, but so is mediocrity. And right now your life is being shaped by whichever is louder in your space. Average is loud, fear is persistent, weak energy is consistent. So you must out-select, out-curate, out-decide. Say this now. I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. I do not permit fear to infect my rhythm. I do not negotiate my identity based on environment, because every high performer knows atmosphere is a multiplier. It either speeds up your transformation or slows it down to death. You can't plant a seed of wealth in a field of doubt. You can't rehearse identity and share space with cynics. You can't embody purpose while explaining yourself to energy that doesn't even speak your language. Cut it off. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to fight it. Just rise. Just remove. Just build a circle that mirrors your future, not your past. That's the Napoleon Hill model. He wrote clearly, no individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind. That means alignment is power, and power multiplies in presence. So if you want to multiply results, you must multiply resonance. You must get around others who speak in goals, not gossip, operate in decisions, not delays, think in outcomes, not obstacles. This is not about ego. This is about frequency. And if your frequency is constantly being dialed down just to survive your atmosphere, you're in the wrong room. Find better rooms, even if it's digital at first, even if you start with one voice, even if you have to leave people you've loved for years, because love without alignment turns into resentment, and comfort without calling turns into a cage. You're not leaving people behind. You're just refusing to carry what no longer grows. Say it loud. I am not for everyone. I'm for the aligned. I'm for the hungry. I'm for the circle that multiplies belief. And here's the final shift. You don't just seek powerful energy, you become it. You don't just wait for the right circle, you embody the standard. You speak with such clarity. Others align to you. You hold such frequency. Others rise just by being near you. Be the spark, be the multiplier, be the one who sets the tone for the atmosphere. But first, clean it. Audit your phone, audit your group chat, audit your social feed. Audit the rooms you keep entering out of habit. If they don't elevate, eliminate. Say it, I do not allow weak energy in my atmosphere. I am the frequency. I am the fire. I am the filter. Let people wonder. Let them talk. You don't owe explanations for alignment. You owe your future total obedience. I don't adapt to fear. I don't absorb doubt. I don't tolerate lazy energy. I attract alignment. I multiply power. I protect my atmosphere. Say it, and move like your environment is sacred, because it is. The world doesn't respond to effort. It responds to essence. You can hustle for a decade and still feel behind, not because you're not working hard, but because you're still operating like you need to earn your identity. Listen, you don't earn power, you activate it. And power, real power, is expressed in how you give. Not what you have, not what you keep, not what you prove, but how you overflow. Here's the truth. When you over-deliver, you break the algorithm of average. You snap the world out of expectation, and you rewire your subconscious into permanent excellence. This isn't about people-pleasing. This isn't about bending over backwards. This is about becoming the kind of force that disrupts low standards. You walk in, and people feel it. That's not normal energy. That's identity-based excellence. Carnegie didn't build an empire by doing just enough. He installed the identity of over-delivery. Every interaction, every deal, every decision, he brought more than what was asked. Not for applause, but because that's who he was. You're not here to meet expectations. You're here to shatter them. That's how you build internal wealth. That's how you dominate a room without even raising your voice. Let this rewire you. Excellence is not effort, it's identity. And identity must be lived in the small things, the invisible moments, the quiet decisions nobody claps for. You do it because it's who you are, because you don't cut corners, because average is allergic to your spirit. Say it out loud. I exceed expectations because it's who I am. This is the law of over-delivery, not just in money, not just in results, in attitude, in service, in presence, in thought. When others are looking to do less, you're scanning for how to add more value, not from scarcity, not from needing to be liked, but from an unshakable identity of abundance. And here's what happens when you live this way. The universe takes notes. Napoleon Hill wrote this clearly, that wealth and opportunity flow to the irreplaceable, and irreplaceable isn't talent. It's not even intelligence. It's the ability to bring more than expected, consistently, without needing a reward to justify it. When you make that shift, you become magnetic. Doors open that weren't even on the blueprint. People refer you without hesitation. Opportunities multiply, not because you begged for them, but because your identity demanded them. Look at Charles Schwab. He wasn't Carnegie's most technical man, but his attitude of initiative and over-delivery made him indispensable. He spoke with certainty. He made others better. He gave more than his title. And Carnegie paid him more than any other steel executive in the country. Why? Because identity creates elevation. Say this: I am the kind of person who makes every room better. I leave no moment empty. I bring overflow wherever I go. You're not trying to impress people. You're proving to yourself that excellence is your standard, even when no one's watching, even when you're broke, even when you're angry, even when you're tired, especially then. Because identity isn't tested when it's easy. It's tested when nobody would blame you for doing the bare minimum. That's the moment most shrink. That's the moment you shine. Over-delivery isn't a performance. It's a principle. You give more because it's your frequency. You give more because it separates you from the 97% who wait to be told what to do. Let this settle deep. I don't match energy. I set it. I don't meet standards. I raise them. I don't need permission to give more. This mindset flips everything. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop calculating what you're getting out of something. You start moving from identity, not outcome. You're not delivering for likes, for tips, for praise. You're delivering from an internal supply that doesn't run dry. Because here's the secret. The one who gives the most becomes the one who owns the space. Giving is claiming. Excellence is ownership, and people feel it. They may not understand it. They may not say thank you, but energetically, they can't ignore you. That's how the greats operate. They make themselves unforgettable through energy, presence, follow-through, and overflow. Let this be your code. I do more than expected. I finish what others avoid. I bring value that multiplies. I lead with overflow, not obligation. This is what rewires broke. This is what destroys fatigue. This is what burns through resentment. You stop waiting for recognition and start moving like it's already yours. Because when excellence is your default, you don't compete, you dominate. Say it loud. I exceed expectations because it's who I am. I give more, not for validation, but because I live in overflow. That's the highest form of wealth, not the money in the bank, but the belief that you can never be empty because you are the source. I give more than expected. I operate in overflow. I multiply value. I don't chase outcomes. I carry identity. Say it daily. Move like it's done. And watch the world recalibrate. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need ritual. You need daily proof to your subconscious that this identity is real, not someday, not later, now. Because repetition is the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious runs everything. Your actions, your habits, your confidence, your fears. It all flows from one place, what you rehearse. So if you're tired, broke, angry, that's not just your circumstance. It's your mental script. It's your identity loop. Here's what most people miss. They want to change their life without changing their rhythm. They want transformation without repetition. They want abundance without obedience to ritual. That's not how this works. Napoleon Hill knew this. He taught it plainly. Repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. In other words, you don't wait for faith. You rehearse it. You embed it. You command it every day, every moment, until your cells recognize the new code. Let's be clear. Your subconscious doesn't care what's true. It only responds to what's repeated. Say a lie long enough, it becomes your ceiling. Say the truth long enough, it becomes your standard. So here's the final shift. You move like it's already done. You speak like it's already yours. You walk like you've already won. Not for show, but because you've trained your subconscious to only accept alignment. This is where most people quit. Not because it's hard, but because it's inconsistent. They speak abundance on Monday and doubt on Tuesday. They affirm greatness at 6 a.m. and entertain mediocrity by 3 p.m. They don't have a system. They have a mood, and a mood will never outperform a ritual. You must install repetition until your identity is locked in. That means daily affirmations spoken out loud, not whispered, not typed, spoken with force. Written identity statements, so your mind sees your future before it arrives. Physical embodiment. You don't just think power. You stand in it, walk in it, speak from it. Because when the body moves, the identity locks in. Say this. I act like it's done. I move like it's mine. I rehearse power until I become it. You're not faking anything. You're becoming what you've always been. Faith is not blind. Faith is trained vision. You train it by repetition. You lock it in through ritual. You walk it out until doubt no longer fits. Let's talk practice. If you want to snap out of broke, angry, tired, you need a daily loop that pulls your future into the now. Here's the framework. Wake up and speak your identity. Before your phone, before the noise, out loud, with conviction. I don't hesitate. I build. I become. Write your reality. Not how life is, but how you are. I am wealthy in thought, action, and presence. I walk with certainty. I speak with overflow. Move with proof. Act like it's done. Make the phone call. Send the proposal. Create the offer. Don't wait for motivation. Move in identity. Protect your rhythm. No weak energy. No apologizing for momentum. No entertaining thoughts that betray your new standard. Because the moment you pause ritual, the old identity starts knocking again. Are you sure? Who do you think you are? Maybe this isn't working. You shut it down with one response. I've already decided. You say it even when your feelings don't match. You say it even when the results haven't shown up yet. You say it because your words are the thermostat. Your results are just the temperature catching up. Say this. I speak. I repeat. I lock it in. My identity is not up for negotiation. This is how you become unshakable. Not through inspiration, through installation. Daily, deliberately, with fire. Let the world wonder what changed. Let them ask what happened. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe them proof, because here's the truth. You are the proof. Your discipline is the evidence. Your identity is the answer. You're not here to explain. You're here to embody. And the ones who rise are the ones who act before it's visible, before it's validated, before it's popular. That's faith in motion. That's identity in action. That's how you build what no one else can even imagine. Because you stopped waiting for confirmation. You stopped checking for applause. You locked in your ritual and let your results speak. So from here on out, you rehearse your identity daily. You move like it's inevitable. You protect your rhythm like it's sacred. This isn't temporary. This is your new default. And when the old thoughts creep in, you don't flinch. You don't explain. You don't hesitate. You repeat the new. I'm not tired. I'm training. I'm not broke. I'm building. I'm not angry. I'm aligned. Say it loud. Say it now. I don't hesitate. I build. I become. I speak. I repeat. I lock it in. I move like it's done. I walk like it's already mine. Let the world feel the shift. Let your rhythm shake the atmosphere. Let your presence explain the silence. You don't owe them answers. You are the answer. Let the world wonder what changed. You don't owe them answers. You are the answer.